Good day, everyone. This is Taufik Akiwande, your online mathematics coach. Today we are going to look at differentiation part 2, quotient rule. In our last class, in my last video, I looked at product rule. But in this video, we are going to look at quotient rule. What do I call it? Quotient rule. So what is quotient rule? How do we apply it? How do we know that it is quotient rule that we are to use? Quotient rule is normally, as the name implies, quotient rule. It implies that whenever you have two functions dividing each other, like the one on the board now, x squared y equals to x squared all over this function. So whenever you have, this is division line of divisor. Whenever you have two quotients dividing each other like this, the simplest rule you use is quotient rule. You know, in the last one, product rule, we said when two functions multiply each other like this, then you use product rule. But when you have two functions dividing each other, for beginners, you use quotient rule. Is that taken? Good. Now that you know when to apply this rule, this topic is very important. It's very useful for those in secondary school and those writing JAM. So try to watch from the beginning to the end of this video. It's going to be beneficial for you. Now, look at the formula on the board. This is the formula for quotient rule. So try to do what? Try to memorize it, go over it several times, and digest it very well. Once you know this formula, then it becomes easier for you to solve any questions on this part. Yes. Although it looks cumbersome, but when you settle down, you digest it, you go over it, you go over this video several times, you look at it. It's very easy. Look at it. So because I don't want this video to be too lengthy, I might not like to digress more on how to memorize formulas. Now that you know the formula on the board, you can look at it, can continue looking at this video if you still have problem, or you leave a question for me under the comment. Ask me your question, then I will be glad to answer your questions. Now look at the question we want to look at. We are told to find dy dx if y equals to x squared all over this. Yes. How do we go about these questions? It's very simple. It's very simple. But listen attentively because it's technical. It's a technical question. You must look at it. So, yes. The first thing is you try to represent the numerator, that is this function on top of the divisor, by u, and the one below it by v. So we say u equals to what? X squared. We let u be x squared. Then immediately you find the u all over the x. That means you differentiate u with respect to x. Is that taken? When you differentiate x squared, you have 2x. If I have any question in differentiating, then you can see me later. So if you differentiate u with respect to x, we have 2x. Then you leave that part. You come to the v. You say let v be the function, the denominator function, which is s plus 1. So then you differentiate v with respect to x. dv dx equals to what? So this function v equals to this. You can rewrite it in a more simpler way for you to differentiate, like this: x plus 1 raised to power 2. Square root sign means half. Yes, square root sign means half. So this function is still the same as this. So if we are to differentiate it, don't forget the rule of differentiation is you use the power to multiply the functions and then subtract 1 from it. So it becomes half multiplied by the function, then half minus 1 become minus half. When you subtract half, half minus 1 is minus half. Any question? Are you following? Good. So now we continue. Now that you have done this, then you find this function v squared. That means because in the formula we need square of v. So don't forget, this is our v, then we square it. So this is, you square it up, it becomes v squared. So before we leave, we can simplify this further to mean this, because we know that s squared, square root of s plus 1 is the same thing as square root, is the same thing as this. Then don't forget, we have square on it. Then in the law of indices, when power, you can multiply the two power, then you have, when this half multiplied 2, it becomes 1. So this can be this. Any question? Yes, we go ahead. So because of this video, I don't want to waste much time explaining, so that this video will not be too lengthy. So v equals to this now. So v squared rather equals to s plus 1. Take note of this. Now we have gotten our all these functions. We have v already, du ds, u dv ds, and v squared. Then we start to substitute. You substitute all the functions, then our answer comes out. The y all over the x will now be equals to our v. Don't forget, our v is this, which is square root of this. Then our du dx is what? Du dx is multiplied by 2x. Then minus, then our u is what? S squared. Then our dv dx is what? What is our dv dx? See, our dv dx is half into s plus 1 raised to power minus half. Are we following? Then don't forget, all over what? V squared. Our v squared has been simplified to be this, which is s plus 1. Do you have any question? So try to follow this video to the end so that you will know how to solve. If you can solve this question under differentiation, then there is no any other question on differentiation that you cannot solve. So listen attentively and follow me. So now we continue. We can simplify this equation further so that it look more beautiful for us. You can see the y all over the x. Use this to multiply this. Then we use this to multiply that. So now this will still be the same. Then this is will be this. When this multiply this can be rewritten. Let's go to one corner and simplify this so that you will not be confused, and then you will not continue writing too much lengthy. Let's come to one corner of our book. I want to simplify this function a little bit. So we have s squared dot half into x plus 1 raised to power minus half. Yes, this can be rewritten as this function s plus 1 raised to power minus half. You can rewrite it as, let's first write this. You can rewrite it as 1 all over x plus 1 raised to power half. We change this bracket to another one so that we will not be confused. Put together. So this function here can be rewritten as this. Any argument? No. Then we continue. So if you agree with me that this is this, then this can multiply this. This can also be s squared all over 2. When you multiply this, it becomes s squared all over 2 into x plus 1 raised to power half. Is that taking? Yes. Because we have square root here, we can write it in form of square root s squared all over 2 into square root of x plus 1. Is that taking? So, we can come and substitute our values here. The whole of it can be rewritten as what we have gotten, that s squared all over 2 into square root of x plus 1. If you are confused, you can see me or you message me under that you don't understand how we have gotten this, or you look over the video again. Now, everything all over x plus 1. Yes. Now we have this. This is like a fraction. It's like when we have 1 over 2 minus 2 over 3. All of us know how to solve that fraction. So we handle it in that form, because this one can also be all over 1. So if you handle it in that, we look for the SCM. So let me clean up so that we have more space to work on. Now, dy dx equals to dy ds is equal to what? This, when we find the SCM will be what? The SCM will be 2 root of x plus 1. This multiply this is this. That will be the LCM. Yes. If that is taken, we now have this multiplied by this. How many this can we get in this? It's still this. Then we use this to multiply all this function here. So it means we have 2 root x plus 1 multiplying this 2x into root x plus 1. That is that. Minus, what is the LCM of this? This is 1. So it makes minus half minus s squared. So how many of this can we see in the LCM? How many this can go in this? Is 1. Is it not? So just use 1 to multiply this function on top here. So when you subtract this, you have this. Everything all over x plus 1. Are we together? Together we are, okay? So, if you look at this, it looks a bit simpler to this. So now, looking at this, we can simplify it further. This multiplied by this multiplied by this. Let's open the bracket and see what happens. When this multiply this, when 2 root x plus 1, when it's multiplied by root x plus 1, then we have 2x. Let's look at it. This multiply this. The rule is that law of indices say when square root multiply that, yeah, that means when you have s multiplying root x, you know they have the same function. So it's the same thing as x. Do you agree with me? Because of if you are a beginner. So when this multiply this, we'll be left with this multiplied by x plus 1. So the whole of this has reduced to this, then multiply by 2x. So if you agree with me, we continue. Then this is the same thing. 2 times this is 4x into x plus 1. Do you see this? That means the whole of this that is on top here can be written as this. 4x into s plus 1 minus s squared. You see? All over 2 into x plus 1. You can go over it when you go over this video. You listen now, you go over it first time, second time, you do what? You understand it better. Now, we go ahead. So now, we can open this bracket. Now have 4x. When 4x multiplied that, we have 4x squared. Then 4x multiply 1, that's 4s, that's still 4x. Then minus s squared, everything all over 2 into s plus 1. So we have some terms that are like, collect like terms. This minus this give us 3s squared plus 4x all over 2 root x plus 1. So, now this is our equation. Now divide the s, don't forget divide the s is still the same thing as this. So now this you can still factorize that one out. S is common here, s common here. We can bring out x, which will now be 3x plus 4 into 2 into 2. Just write what is down, s plus 1. So this is our final answer. This is our final answer. If you have any questions, you can ask. Yes, correct. That is our final answer. So I'm very, very much correct. 3x plus, we can rewrite this in this form again. 2 into x plus 1 raised to power half is still the same as this. So that's the final answer. Now, assignment or take or homework. So I'll give you 2 questions for you to go over. You can go over any textbook. So you can do this as your assignment. X all over root x minus 1. Then the second question, 2x plus 1 all over 3x minus 2. So do this as your assignment. If you have any question, you can ask. See you in the next class.